Hi guys, and welcome to today's video. Those of you that are new to my channel, my name is Maria, and today I'm going to be trying out the other one of the Chanel, the Oversize Healthy Glow Sunkissed powders. In my last video I put on the medium one, and that's in Sunkissed, and today I'm going to try on the deep one, and that's the Sunbath one. Now in my other video I did swatches of other bronzers, or some other bronzers that I have in my collection, and I'll do that again today. But one thing I didn't do in that video, and that is swatch beside the shade, the Sunbath one, is the Beiges. It's a Healthy Glow bronzing cream, because I have this in Tan Deep, so I will swatch that today so you can see them side by side. Now since my last video I have been playing around with this Sunbath one, the deep shade, and I really like it. It may be a tad deep for me this time of the year, since it's late autumn here in New Zealand. We're heading into winter, but I just go fairly lightly, and I still think it gives a beautiful, just sun-kissed look. A little bit deeper than the medium. I love the medium as well, and I think this shade is really beautiful too. And as you saw in my last video, I also picked up the Illuminating oil. That's for hair, face and body, and I've used that quite a few times, and I've been actually using it every day since I got it, and I love it. Now I have tried it in my hair twice, and I'll let you know my thoughts on that a little bit later in this video. So I've already got on my foundation, and I have powdered my face. I've got nearly all Chanel products on. I use the Waterfresh Tint, that's in shade light medium, and the powder is in 30. Under my eyes though, I do use the Diptyque pressed powder. I just think that's the most flattering for my under eye area, and I've also done my eyebrows as well. But everything that I'm mentioning in the video today will be linked in the description box below. So for those of you that didn't see my other video, this is what the Oversize Healthy Glow Sunkissed powder looks like. This one is in Sunbath Deep, and I'll show them to you side by side in a minute. They have 15 grams of product. They are made in Italy, and they have a shelf life of 18 months from date of opening. There is a huge mirror inside, and they do have this really gorgeous embossing. It's like little Chanel packaging on the embossing. So I'll just hold that up. Now this isn't in pristine condition anymore because I have been using it. I'm just hoping that camera will focus. There we go. So this is in Sunbath Deep. And if I remember, I did some photos of these when they were in pristine condition, and also a short clip. So if I remember when I'm editing, I will put that up beside me here so you can take a look at them. So I'll also show you the Sunkissed in medium, and I'll show them to you side by side. So this one is Sunkissed medium, and this one is Sunkissed deep. And I picked up both of these powders from the Chanel boutique in the UK. New Zealand Post has a forwarding address that you can use to get items sent to that address, and then New Zealand Post forwards them on. So that's how I picked these up. Now I understand too that Selfridges is stocking these, and I'm not sure whether they're all in stock now or they've been sold out, but apparently they are shipping them overseas as well. So it's definitely worth a look and see if they're restocked. Now for the USA, I understand that these are going to be released on June the 15th. And from what I've heard in New Zealand, these are going to be released on June the 1st. And I'm hoping that the two highlighter powders will be available as well, because if they are, I'm going to pick them up. So I'll swatch these powders on my arm now. If you want to see what the medium shade looks like on, I'll put a link up to that video here so you can take a look. But I'll still swatch this beside the deep one, as well as the cream bronzer and some other bronzers that I've got in my collection. So this shade here is the new Chanel powder, and that's in medium Sunkissed. This is in Sunbath Deep. So these are the two new Chanel powders. This is the cream bronzer, the Chanel one, and that's in deep. This is Charlotte Tilbury, and I'm pretty sure this is shade 3. It's scratched off on the back of my packaging, but I'm pretty sure it's shade 3. This is Chantecaille, and this is the shade Goa. This is Bobbi Brown, and this is in medium. This is in the Dior Forever, and this is in number 5, Warm Bronze. And the last one is another Dior one, and this one is in shade 6, and that is Amber Bronze. There's also a large kabuki brush that you can get with this collection as well, and I didn't pick that up. I may do once this arrives in New Zealand. I'm still not too sure yet, but I'm going to use the Sonia G. This is the Niji Pro brush, and I'm just going to go in very lightly. I have been using, as I was saying, these powders since I did my last video every day, and I think they are beautiful and they blend beautifully as well. So this is quite deep, but I still think it gives a really beautiful look. And these powders do have a sheen. It is really subtle though, and I think it is really flattering on my mature skin. It doesn't seem to emphasize the texture that I have. So I just tap very lightly with the powder. I can always add a little bit more if I want to, because it does build really beautifully. But I just find it's just easier to go in lightly at first and then just add more if I want. But these, like I said, these powders just blend really, really beautifully. So even though that Sunbath is quite a bit deeper than medium, you can sort of go more lightly, and it does give that deeper look, but I really like it. Now, my skin tone, I probably look a little bit lighter under these lights here. I have foundations that are light medium, and I'm probably pushing more towards the medium, definitely in summer, and that's probably why I can wear this deeper shade. But I have seen videos that people with not really like porcelain skin, but on the fair sort of spectrum, they can wear this as well. They'd even have to go in a bit lighter than what I did, but it is quite a versatile shade, and I think it looks really, really pretty. And I love the sheen that it gives. I think it's really subtle, and I just think they are gorgeous powders. And it was this cheek that I put the powder on first, and I went in a little bit heavy, but it just blended out really, really easily. They are really beautiful powders. They just tend to sort of meld with your skin, and I just think they're gorgeous. So they're definitely not a matte powder. Like I said, they have got that bit of sheen in them, but I don't think that they emphasize the texture that I have, and I think they are really flattering and just give a really beautiful sun-kissed look. So for my eyeshadow, I'm going to do what I did in the other video, and this time using the Sunbath Deep. I'm going to use this as part of the shadow, and for the rest I've reached for, it's the Beiges, it's the Healthy Glow Natural Eyeshadow Palette, and this isn't the one in Intense. In my last video, I used the one Tender. So I'm going to take my Rapha number 14 and just go in very lightly in the pan. And I'm going to start off just on the outside and just some through the crease and a little bit above as well. Now when I use this when I use the shade medium for eyeshadow in my video the other day, I found that they blended really beautifully, and I also found that it lasted really well too. Later that evening when I went to take my eyeshadow off, the part that I'd had where this bronzer was, it had lasted just as well as the rest of the eyeshadow. Then I'm going to go into this Intense palette, and I'll probably only use 2 or 3 shades from here, and I'm going to go into this colour down here, and this is a Chocohodo brush, and I'm just going to put that over the rest of the lid and a little bit up through here as well. Out of the 2 palettes, this one and the Tender, this is probably my more favourite one because I tend to like greens, probably a little bit more than pinks. Although when I'd finished, the pink gave a beautiful look as well. And then using that same shade, I'm just going to take, this is the Sonia G, this is the soft shader, and I'm just going to run that under my lower lash line. And then with the Rapper number 3, there is a deeper shade here, and I'm just going to go over just what I put on my lower lash line, just in the outer third here. Then I'm going to take the Sonia G, this is the Blender Pro, and I'm going to go into the green shade, and I'm just going to put that on the outer corner, just over where I'd put the bronzer, and a little bit through the crease. I don't want to take things right up, I just want to keep it fairly simple. Now I'm going to take the Rapper number 2 brush, and I'm going to go into this top shade here, and just put that over the darker colour. This is a bit lighter and just lifts it a bit, and I'll put a little bit through here as well. Then I'm just going to take the Rapper number 14. This is the one that I used to put the bronzer on with initially, and I'm just going to go around the top here just to soften everything up. I didn't add any more powder, it's just what was, if there's any left on the brush. So I've now put on my mascara and eyeliner. Mascara is a Chanel Le Volume, and the eyeliner I just tight lined and put a little bit on the lower lash line, and that is in the shade Khaki Metal. So now I'm going to put on some blush. I've grabbed the Chanel, it's from earlier collection, it's the Le Comete one, and this is in the shade Coral Etoile, and this is still available on the US website. This is a really beautiful blush. I don't want to go in too heavy with it though. So I'm just going to take my Coco brush and just tap very lightly and just pop a bit of this beautiful colour on. I think that this colour goes really well with the intense eyeshadow palette with the green. I think it's really lovely together. And for lipstick, I've got the Chanel, it's a Coco Flash one, and this is in the shade Dawn. So here is the finished look, and I think once you've got everything on, when you initially put on, well for me, the deep shade, I think, oh, maybe it is a little bit too deep. But once you've got all the rest of your makeup on, I think it's really, really beautiful. So if you are deciding whether to choose medium or deep, or maybe you're going to choose both, hopefully this will help if you've got a similar skin tone to what I have. But I think altogether it's really, really lovely. So now I just want to have a quick chat about this Illuminating oil. I mentioned this in my last video. So it's just been sitting on the table, and as you can see, it does separate. So you just have to just tilt it a couple of times back and forth, and then it all mixes together. But this is really beautiful, and as I was saying earlier, I've been using this every single day on my legs and also my hands and arms. It's just absolutely beautiful, and it smells like the Chanel Hydra Beauty line. It's not as strong a smell as some of the skincare is. It's a lot more subtle, but it is really beautiful, and even towards the end of the day I can still just faintly smell it on my hands and arms. It's just absolutely gorgeous. Now I've also tried this on my hair. I've tried it a couple of times. Once, and it was just a little bit I used, and I used it all over, and then the second time I just put it through the ends. I haven't done that yet today, and I'll do that in a minute. So as I explained in my other video, even though I have lots of hair, each strand is actually quite fine. So I was a bit concerned that the oil might weigh it down, and when I put it on all over, it actually did. It made my hair feel really, really beautiful, but it's just in oil. They just don't seem to, if I put them all over, it just seems to drag my hair down a bit, and I can end up looking a little bit oily even though I only use the tiniest amount. But when I use it just through the ends, I just think it's absolutely beautiful. So just give it another shake, and I'll just take off the lid. So this is a big bottle. This has, I'm not quite sure, I think it's about 250 mils of product. And then I just drop just a couple of drops into my hands, and then just rub it for a minute, and then I just pull it through the ends of my hair. And you won't be able to see on camera, but it does give quite a very subtle shine as well. It's really, really beautiful, and it makes my hair just feel silky smooth. It does feel really, really beautiful. So it's better if I stick to this part down on my hair with an oil. If I start going through the top, that's where it can start to weigh it down a bit. So I just bring it through and then just give my hair a bit of a tussle so it's through, and I put a little bit through the back as well, and I can smell it. It's just, I think it's a beautiful scent, really, really beautiful. And I think that it does give my hair quite a subtle sort of healthy sort of sheen to it. It's really, really lovely. But I especially love it on my hands, arms and legs. So I'm going to put a little bit more in my hand, and I'm going to rub that on my right hand. I'll leave it for now on my left hand. And like in my last video, I'll show you, I'll put my hands up together and show you. I'm not sure whether on camera you can really see a difference, but you can in person. And this is sort of quite, it's a dry oil. And after a few minutes, it just leaves your skin absolutely silky smooth, and it just stays like that all day. It is really, really beautiful. So this is the hand that I put the oil on, and this is the one where I haven't. And I'm looking in my monitor, and you can only slightly see a difference. It's very subtle anyway, but I just love the feeling that it gives your skin. It's just really, really beautiful. So I am just in love with this Chanel collection. I love both of the powders that I picked up. I loved the medium the other day when I did that look in my other video. And now that I've got all my makeup on, just like the other day when I tried it out, like I said, initially I think it's a little bit too deep. And then once you've got everything on, I think it is absolutely beautiful. So it really depends on your skin tone and what type of look that you're looking for. The medium is lighter and maybe gives a little bit more of a sun-kissed look than this one. But I love both powders. I love the way they blend. I love the way they're packaged. I just think it is a really stunning collection. And I really love the illuminating oil as well. I may not be able to use it all over my hair, but it is really lovely from halfway down. I think it's really, really gorgeous. And I just love it on my hands. It feels, now that I've had it on for 2 or 3 minutes, they just feel silky smooth, and I can faintly smell that scent, and it is really, really beautiful. So I'm thrilled with the collection so far, and I'm hoping that New Zealand will be getting the 2 highlighter powders, and if they do, I will be picking both of them up, and I will do a video on those. So that's it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, give it a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you next time. Bye.